Welcome to True Crime Tuesday, where the truth is scarier than fiction. Each week, we dive deep into the darkest corners of human nature, exploring real-life crime cases, unsolved mysteries, and infamous killers. From chilling disappearances to horrifying serial crimes, these stories are as disturbing as they are true. So if you think you can handle the horror, stay tuned, because some of these cases are so terrifying, you may not sleep tonight. Have you ever wondered just how vulnerable celebrities really are? How a seemingly ordinary fan can cross the line, turn deadly, and change the law forever? This is the horrifying story of Rebecca Schaeffer, an innocent rising star whose life was stolen on her own doorstep by a man she didn't even know, but who had been watching her for years. Her tragic murder not only shocked Hollywood, but changed American law. Stay with me, because the details of this story are far darker than you might think. Who was Rebecca Schaeffer? In the late 1980s in Los Angeles, bright lights, big dreams, and a 21-year-old woman named Rebecca Schaeffer is standing right at the edge of something incredible. Born on November the 6th, 1967 in Eugene, Oregon, Rebecca was the only child of Dana and Dr. Benson Schaeffer. Her parents had big hopes for her, but even they couldn't have predicted how fast her life would take off. Rebecca wasn't just another pretty face trying to make it in Hollywood. She had talent, charm, and something the industry craved, the it factor. She started her career as a teen model, gracing the covers of magazines like 17, but it was television that really came calling. In 1986, Rebecca landed her breakout role as Patty Russell in the CBS sitcom My Sister Sam, playing the younger sister opposite actress Pam Dawber. The show ran for 2 seasons, and while it didn't break records, Rebecca stood out. She was funny, sweet, and relatable, earning her a loyal fan base. But not all of her fans were healthy admirers. Enter Robert John Bardo. While Rebecca's star was rising, 19-year-old Robert John Bardo was spiraling into obsession. Born in Arizona, Bardo had a troubled past, mental health issues, behavioral problems, and a family history of instability. It was a cocktail of darkness waiting to explode. Bardo became fixated on My Sister Sam, most specifically on Rebecca. He started writing her letters, and to Rebecca's credit, she responded. A kind, polite reply, one she likely didn't think twice about. But to Bardo, it was everything. In his twisted mind, it wasn't a fan letter. It was personal, intimate, meaningful. It was a connection. And that tiny sliver of interaction planted a seed that would grow into something terrifying. Bardo's fixation with Rebecca escalated fast. He traveled to Los Angeles once before, trying to meet her on the set of My Sister Sam, but was turned away by security. Most people would have taken that as a sign to stop, but not Bardo. Oh no. He became more obsessed, tracking her career, collecting her photos, and watching her interviews over and over again. And then, something changed. In 1989, My Sister Sam had been cancelled for over a year. Rebecca, like many actresses, was looking for her next role. She landed a small part in the dark comedy Scenes from the Class Struggle in Beverly Hills, where her character had an intimate scene, a role that, for Rebecca, was a step toward breaking her girl next door typecast. But for Bardo, it was betrayal. His fantasy vision of Rebecca had been shattered, and he viewed her as tainted, impure, and ruined. And in his disturbed mind, there was only one way to fix this. Bardo wasn't just obsessed, he was organized. He hired a private investigator, paying less than $300 to track down Rebecca's personal information. Shockingly, the investigator used DMV records to find her address. No questions asked. Bardo now knew where she lived, but that wasn't enough. He wanted to make sure he did it right. Inspired by another celebrity murder, John Lennon's assassination by Mark David Chapman, Bardo flew to Los Angeles carrying a copy of The Catcher in the Rye and a .357 Magnum revolver, both chilling symbols of Chapman's crime. He didn't come alone. He brought his brother's gun and determination. July 18th, 1989. Los Angeles. It's a warm summer morning. Rebecca Schaeffer, now 21, is preparing for a casting call for The Godfather Part 3. It could have been her big break. She's waiting for the script to be delivered. She's probably excited and maybe a little nervous. She opens her door. Standing there is a man she's never seen before, Robert John Bardo. Rebecca, ever the polite young woman, speaks to him briefly. She tells him she's busy, she's expecting someone, and kindly asks him to leave. He does. But Bardo isn't done. About an hour later, he comes back, this time with the gun. When Rebecca opens the door again, Bardo pulls out the revolver and shoots her point blank in the chest. Rebecca collapses in the hallway. Her final words, "Why?" Bardo flees, and Rebecca is rushed to Cedars-Sinai Medical Center. She's pronounced dead within the hour. She never made it to that casting call. Bardo didn't try to hide. He wandered aimlessly around Los Angeles before being found the next day in Tucson, Arizona, pacing on a freeway, confessing to police that he had just killed Rebecca Schaeffer. The evidence was overwhelming. The letters, the gun, and the witness reports. He admitted it all. Bardo was charged with first-degree murder. During the trial, Bardo's defense argued mental illness, claiming he was legally insane. But the jury wasn't convinced. He was found guilty and sentenced to life in prison without the possibility of parole. He remains incarcerated to this day. Rebecca's death sent shockwaves through Hollywood and beyond. But something far more significant emerged from this senseless tragedy. At the time, it was shockingly easy for stalkers to obtain celebrities' private information. All Bardo had needed was a small payment and access to DMV records. Rebecca's parents, along with advocacy groups, campaigned for change, and they succeeded. California passed the country's first anti-stalking laws, and restrictions were placed on public access to personal records through the DMV. These changes didn't bring Rebecca back, but they did save countless others. Rebecca's life was more than her career. She had dreams, she had relationships, and she had people who loved her. Before her death, she had dated Brad Silberling, a film director who would later speak publicly about the devastating impact of her murder. He went on to direct Moonlight Mile, a film inspired by the emotional aftermath of her death, focusing on the grief, the loss, and the human cost of violence. Rebecca's parents, who once dreamed of seeing their daughter achieve greatness, were left with heartbreak, but also with purpose. They became advocates for victims' rights, ensuring Rebecca's story was never forgotten. Today, Rebecca Schaeffer's story serves as a sobering reminder of the dark side of fame, of the dangers lurking behind innocent fan mail, and of the tragic cost of obsession left unchecked. Her murder changed Hollywood security. It sparked national conversations about privacy and stalking, and it paved the way for stronger protections, not just for celebrities, but for everyday people. Rebecca Schaeffer was more than a rising star. She was a daughter, a friend, a young woman with her whole life ahead of her. And while her life was stolen far too soon, her legacy lives on, not in scandal, not in sensationalism, but in the laws that protect people today. So the next time you see your favorite celebrity online, or follow their life through social media, remember, they are human. And if you found this story gripping, chilling, or eye-opening, consider subscribing and hitting that bell icon. Because the next time, I'll be telling you another story that you won't believe actually happened. Thank you so much for listening. If you do have any comments, leave them down below. And until the next time, have a good evening. Wherever you are in the world, take care.